You're watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for joining me on another edition of Inside Automotive right here at CBT News. For over a decade, Gary Rome and his Hyundai store team have awarded a car to a high school student in their community. And this year, the tradition continued. So joining us now to talk about this is Mr. Gary Rome himself, who's the president of Gary Rome Hyundai and Gary Rome Kia. And he's also, I might add, the 2023 Time Dealer of the Year. So congrats again on that, Gary. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to join us about this topic of giving cars away to kids. This is pretty cool. As you know, when we first started, or when we jumped on here earlier, I said that I've done a lot of stories about dealers that are giving cars to teachers, but not so much on the student side. So talk to us about that, and welcome into the show.
Yeah, thank you. Good to be back. Back in 2010, we started this initiative, and I thought it was a great idea, an incentive for a student to get good grades and stay out of trouble and show up for school on time. And we've been doing that ever since. So it's been about 15 years, and it really has made a difference in our community. So I'll meet with the juniors at the end of their school year, and then I'll meet with them throughout the course of their senior year and explain to you that every one of you has an opportunity to win this car.
Yeah.
And we receive about 150 students qualify, and then from that, the guidance counselors will narrow it down to 20 students.
Okay.
And then we'll invite them and their family to our showroom. The band from the high school is here, and all the teachers are here.
That's great.
School, political officials, and then we give each one of the 20 students a key, which they pick out of a fishbowl, right? And they put the key in the car, and they turn the key, and if it unlocks the car and the alarm goes off, they win the car, and it is so exciting.
I bet.
Really, it's wonderful. And I know, because I've talked to previous winners, that it's really made a difference in their lives.
Oh, sure.
Well, number one, it's really inspired them to show up and not sleep in. It inspired them to show up for school so they could qualify.
Yeah.
But in our community, we're kind of a gateway city here. So in our community, for example, the winner last year, Jessica, I said, "Are you going to go to college?" And she says, "I think I'm going to take a year off. I'm going to use this car because it's the only working car that we'll have in our family.
Wow.
And I'm going to use this car to take," you can't make this up, "is take my mother to her appointment. She has cancer.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to take her to her doctor's appointments, and I'm also going to do food shopping and run errands for my family."
Wow.
And yeah, so and this year the winner, Chelsea, turned out to be a president of her class, and she's going on to college, and she's the youngest of four. Her family, her mom's car works, but the dad's car was almost broken, and they were going to have to give her a ride back and forth to college. So now she has a car to start her career, go off to college.
That is fantastic. What kind of car do you give her? What do you give her?
We brand new Hyundai Venue, so it's a $23,000 car, and it's brand new with a new car warranty. And
man, who wouldn't want that coming right out of high school, right?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So hence the reason that you were chosen Time Dealer of the Year. This continues, right? The giving continues. So
well, we want to be we want to be a power of example to others in the business community to hopefully follow suit. But more importantly, I want the students to be a power of example to other students and demonstrate that if you do the right thing, if you stay out of trouble and you study, you too have an opportunity to win a car.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's got to be extremely difficult for those guidance counselors at the school to make that final determination, right?
Yes, I don't want their job. I don't want to be.
Yeah. That's exactly right. That is really, really cool. So you see this as kind of a stake in the future. This will be something that will be you'll be doing all the time.
Yeah, we're going to continue. In fact, I was just thinking at the end of our last giveaway, I said, what would be wonderful is if we could bring back some of the alumni. Right?
That would be cool. Yeah.
I know, for example, when we first did it, our very first year, we gave away the car, and it was at the prom, right?
Okay.
And the girl that won went on to become a teacher. She gave the car to her sister and ended up buying another car from us. And then her sister ended up giving the car to someone else. So it went right down through the family. So it was really inspiring. They're all good kids.
Yeah, of course. And I know that this is not the reason that you do this, but it certainly, I would think, helps in the sense that you're putting a good name and a good reputation out there and a good feeling among the community and the car buyers that are in the community. And again, I know that's not why that you do that, but this can change the perception in many cases that people have, consumers have, of auto dealers, right?
That's right.
In the sense that you're giving back and you're thinking about the kids and the future of that community. Talk to us about the importance of that.
Well, I mean, like you said, that's not our intention to sell more cars, but at least 50% of the clients that come into the dealership, they say the reason I'm here is because of everything you do for the community.
Wow.
Right? But I think it's our responsibility to give back and to be involved, and like I said, to be a power of example.
Right.
And last time we were on the show, and we're still doing it now. We have 26 or 28 different initiatives that we do throughout the year to support.
Incredible.
I'm on the board with Hyundai Hope on Wheels it's our big initiative. We're in our 27th year, and this year we're going to donate $27 million to try to find a cure for pediatric cancer. So every car that our clients buy, we as Hyundai dealers donate $22.
Okay.
And then Hyundai matches in kind. So this year we'll be donating in our 27th year, $27 million to help find a cure for pediatric cancer. So that's one of our key charities. And what I do, which is interesting, when you come to buy a car, we present numbers to you. Everything's of course completely transparent. I include a $10 donation to Hyundai Hope on Wheels. I mean, who wouldn't donate $10? But what it does is it stimulates the conversation.
Yeah.
And now we're going to talk with the client about Hyundai. Well, what is that? And what do you do? And what is this? And can I donate more? And then it brings awareness and lets people know that we're more than just a car dealer. We're more than just a manufacturer.
That's right. That's right.
It's our goal and our privilege to give back to our community. And make
no question about it. And talk to us about the importance of having this as a benefit for the culture and building a good culture inside of your dealerships and among your employees, right?
Yeah, we have a very vibrant culture here. I actually created a position called Corporate Culture Officer. Her name is Kathy, and we call her Captain Culture. And so people, they want to be a part of this. Right? We spend more time with our coworkers than we do with our family.
I know.
So we want to be a part of this. It makes them excited, makes them feel proud. And as a result, we have a lot of people that want to come to work for us because of what we do and who we are.
Yeah. So I can see that for sure. Especially this younger generation. It's been written, it's been talked about. Where people now coming out of colleges and going to work or schools or what have you, they want to work for a company with a cause, with a company that's giving back and overall, is doing good in the community that they're doing business in. That is like at the top 3 things that students today are looking for companies to work for, right?
That's right. And in fact, we have dress down Fridays, and the employees will donate $2.50, but we let them pick the charity that the money should be donated to.
Yeah.
So they're a part of it. They're invested in.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And of course, it goes a long way, I'm sure, with your OEMs, right? They've got to be tickled to death that you are doing this because you share those consumers in your market, with the OEMs, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And in the case of Hyundai, for example, they have a whole budget, a whole team of corporate social responsibility, and it's their goal, to help with food insecurity, to help with housing insecurity, and to help with safety. So we'll have car safety events here at the dealership, or we'll get involved with the food bank, or we'll get involved with the local community college to help make a difference. So very important.
That's great. Well, congratulations on all of that. I'd be remiss if I didn't, ask you about the business as a whole. So we'll switch gears a little bit. Talk to us about how is business at your stores today?
Our business so of course March and April were very strong with the threat of tariffs, and so we did pull ahead a lot of business. So we're ahead of last year.
Okay.
But in the middle of May, it was kind of a lull, and we were quite worried about that. Sales leads were off by about 30%. And the word I use is like there's a malaise, right? There's this little discomfort. People are uncomfortable, but they're not sure what to be uncomfortable about. And I think the flip-flop of the tariffs, just people are they're not sure what to do. So we did see quite a few of our clients were actually switching themselves from a new car to a pre-owned car because it was a little bit less expensive.
Sure.
And then towards the end of the month, we got a little bit of a push. So we pulled it out, but it definitely wasn't the May that we were looking for.
Okay. But still, this May 2025 is better than 2024?
it was just a little bit. Year to date, we're up about 4%. Last month, we were off by 2%. So it's not a big deal. But
Yeah,
we know, and I think the manufacturers know that whatever happens with the tariffs, we need to remain competitive because nothing happens until we sell a car.
that's right.
So nothing and so we don't want to go backwards. We are going to do whatever we have to do to keep moving forward and keep selling cars, and we'll just have to figure it out.
That's right. How is inventory? Are you able to get cars? And
We have inventory. Some of the hybrid models are more popular. The leases are a little bit better on the hybrid models, so those are a little bit more difficult to get. But as a rule, there's plenty of inventory out there.
what's your take on the notion that the $7,500 a car may go away?
I've talked to our executive team at Hyundai and Kia about that, and they're just, well, if it happens, it happens. We'll just have to figure it out. But
Yeah.
we're trying, by trying to force more electric vehicles in a situation where the infrastructure is not ready, we have to kind of manipulate things in a little bit of way to make that car so attractive that even people that weren't considering it will start considering it. And if you take that $7,500 away, they're just going to have to, go to plan B and see what else we could do to keep the incentive on that car.
Sure, sure. I spoke to one of your colleagues in the industry, and he said, this is an interesting idea here, but it seems to have panned out. The salespeople that drive EVs themselves for their personal cars sell a lot more EVs than those
100%.
salespeople that, right? Are you experiencing this as well? Because they're familiar with the car, they know the car. I've talked about this before in previous shows, but it seems as though we've got to win over the hearts and minds of the people on the front line, those being the salespeople, about EVs and even hybrids for that matter. If they're driving them, they believe in them, guess what? The customer will too, right?
We have four at the Hyundai store. We have four salespeople. We'll call them EV experts, and they actually, their personal vehicles that they leased for themselves are EVs. They drive it every day. They don't have range anxiety. They understand this.
Yeah.
And it's really easy for them because they are true believers.
Right.
It's easy.
Right. Yeah. That's an interesting idea there. But as a former salesperson myself, many moons ago, you sell what you're most comfortable with, right? And if there's a particular car or model or demonstration that and presentation that you feel great about, that's what the customer is going to get, right? It's interesting the way that works.
For example, we found that people like the plug-in hybrid, but they don't want to pay the extra money for the plug, right? So but we try to explain to them, when you plug in a plug-in hybrid, you get an extra 34 miles on that small battery.
That's right.
So if you plug it in, you don't need a fancy outlet. You can plug it into a regular 110. You'll get 34 miles on that battery. So really, the first 34 miles are almost free.
Yeah.
And if you only drive 34 miles a day, you'll never have to put gas in the car. And ultimately, it's like getting 80 miles to the gallon. So it's really, it's a process, but people are coming around.
How when consumers come into the showrooms now, are they mentioning tariffs? Is that a hot issue with customers today?
Not as much as in March and April.
Okay.
They're not. But they do know that there probably will be some sort of pricing action at some point.
Okay.
So they know that that now is a good time to get a car.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. How are you feeling about the balance of the year? Here we are halfway through in June of the year. How are you feeling about the next 6 months?
I'm positive. I'm always positive. I'm one of those eternal optimists. When you tell me there's a 70% chance of rain, I hear there's only a 30% chance of sun. So it doesn't even faze me. We're going to do what we have to do. We're in a very strong lease market.
Yeah.
So we will have people coming back. Manufacturers will have a pull ahead program.
Yeah.
They'll have something to keep the factories running and keep the cars flowing to the dealers. So I think we're in a good position.
Good. And obviously fixed ops is doing well as well.
Yes, if you could just find some technicians for me, we'd be all set. Yeah.
If I could do that, I'd be a very rich man today. If I could go to the technician factory and garner up a few. But that's great. That's great. So it's, all things are good with Gary Rome and the Gary Rome Auto Group. So thank you so much for joining us on the show. Very much appreciate it. Love to do a follow-up with you. Again, congratulations on that incredible car giveaway to students. I think that is just awesome. I'd love to maybe one day get you and the student on and hear right from them as to the impact that this has had, And
the family. I think we sent you a video, or we will send you from the news coverage, but the mother was so overcome with joy when she
Wow.
found out that the daughter won the car.
Isn't that great?
She almost, yeah, it's wonderful. It's really,
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite times of the year. It's probably our favorite event that we do.
Yeah.
Because we really get to make a difference, all the way throughout the entire community.
Right, right. Well, this is being broadcast to, as you know, thousands of dealer principals like yourself. And I would imagine you might get a few phone calls of people that go, exactly how does this work? Because I want to do it. So
Sure.
congrats again.
Happy to help.
Yep. Gary Rome, president of Gary Rome, Hyundai and Kia, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Very much appreciate it.
My pleasure. Great
Thanks.
to see you.
Thanks for watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.